I'm Stevie Lynn, and I'm with my digital bestie and emotional support Canadian, Leanne. Leanne. And today, well, this is the first episode of Magical Living on Purpose. So no one's here yet, but that's okay because this video is going to go up later.
Okay, perfect.
Good. So how's the weather over there? Because I'm not going to actually go into it until people show up.
Okay, no, that's totally fine. I totally get that. I don't want to have to repeat myself. It's like, how'd you go? Great. Say it
Do we just
again.
do small talk? I hate small talk too.
I'm not good at small talk either. How's the weather? The weather's great. It was warmer today than it has been, so I'm not
Two,
complaining.
two introverts
Okay,
doing small talk.
right?
Yeah. How about this? How deep is your love, Leanne?
How deep is my love? It's a song, isn't it?
Yeah. That's my mind.
Oh, how was it? It was cold. I think we actually were talking about this earlier, and I think it was colder where you are this morning, way
Yeah.
down south in comparison to way up north. I mean, people probably don't even know where we are situated either.
I'm in North Carolina. I'm in the Piedmont of North Carolina, which is like central North Carolina between the mountains and the sea. I'm in the hills.
Okay.
And um and and where are you?
I'm
I know.
on I'm on an island in the Pacific. I'm on I'm on Vancouver Island, just off the coast
Yeah.
of British Columbia.
So we're
So
in different countries.
we are in different countries and very different, yeah, areas of the country too. But I mean, like you're a California girl, so you're much
Uh,
originally a lot closer to where I am.
I know that's the funny thing is people in the United States, the East, well, a lot of people who are not from around Americas, they think we're all the same. I mean, I don't know how people think about the difference between Canadians and Americans, but they think of all Americans as being the same. They like either think that we're all from Texas or we're all from New York or we're all from California, but it's just like this homogenized idea of what we are. And that is well, we've got a Canadian here. Elizabeth McGregor, she says hello from Toronto. Hi, Elizabeth. I know her.
Oh, do
Hi.
you? Hi, Elizabeth. Nice fellow Canadian joining us.
That's Leanne. And you know me, Stevie, and we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into our gray hair journey and the intentionality behind it. But right now we're talking about um like how people think about Americans and Canadians and how like if people who are not from America think that Americans are either all Texans or all New Yorkers or all Californians. And I don't know if they know the difference between us and Canada. But really, it's Leanne and I are both from the West Coast. I'm from the West Coast of California, although I live in the East Coast now, and she's from the West Coast of Canada. And we're actually more similar, like West
Hmm.
Coast people are more similar, whether we're from Canada or from the US. The East Coast people who are from the US or Canada, they're more alike, I think, right?
I think
Maybe.
so too.
I mean, you got Nova Scotia and Newfoundland, and they're different. I think. I don't know.
They're they're
Scottish.
different. No, they're
There's like
they're
those.
lovely.
There's like the French out there too.
Well,
Like,
Quebec, and some of Ontario. I mean, like there's a lot of French out east, not out west. We don't
yeah.
have as much out here. No, not at
But
all.
there's
I mean, because I,
I'm
pardon?
sorry. There's like an island like outside of Nova Scotia.
And you were the one who told me about that. I had no idea. I had no idea. You tell me this, and I'm like, what? There's a French part of Canada, like that's actually owned by France, and that's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah. So 57 years old, I learned something new.
Yeah. I like, I, you know, I, oh, Elizabeth says she's so excited for our podcast. I guess it's kind of what we're doing, huh? We want to do podcasts
We
so bad.
do. We want to do podcasts.
We're dipping our toes in.
See how this goes. We
Yeah,
chat so much on Instagram, and so we just thought it was just like a natural transition for us to be over here. And I'm so happy that Stevie asked me to be on here. This is a lot
me
of fun.
too. Yeah, we have this like continuous conversation, and like the topic of our conversations for this podcast or live is deliberate living or conscious
Mhm.
living.
Mhm.
But that's what we talk about all the time. Like we're always kind of weighing that. Like, is this authentic? is or just kind of throwing out of the box ideas because what I call us sigma females. You know, we're not like alpha, we're not like beta. Although sigma females can become very alpha, we are like lone wolves. Like Elon Musk is a sigma male.
Oh, and I love being connected to that. That's what I aspire to be, the female Elon.
But you know, like the young people, like the Gen Z, they have their own idea of what sigma is, and it's usually applies to males, and it's like the
Right.
guy who's like so cool that you know he has no time to call a chick back. I mean, it's not. It's a very negative thing.
And
I
that's
think.
what you're comparing us to?
Oh, I'm thinking of like a real. I don't know. Like so, my husband is a sigma male, and
Mhm.
one of his colleagues who's like a neuroscientist wanted to study him as a sigma male as being kind of
Oh,
so
really?
just out of the box, just eccentric,
Right.
you know, but
Mhm.
just an idea. And of course, you know, the younger generations just steal everything. They
I guess we had our turn and we stole everything, so I guess it's their turn to do
have
that too.
done better. So it might just be Elizabeth tonight.
That's fine. It can be like a nice small intimate gathering. I like that too.
It's just Elizabeth. Elizabeth is pretty cool. but, um, but okay. So yeah, it's like, should we wait a few minutes? I think we should just get into it. It's seven
Let's
minutes
just get
in.
into it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the focus of this show is to is deliberate living, intentional living,
Mhm.
conscious living. As we mentioned, we have this continuous conversation, and
Mhm.
in this, the whole idea of this is to help us know who we really are, listen to our voice, quiet all the noise, the exterior noise, and all the pressures to perform for others, um,
Mhm.
do what others need. You know, in order to fulfill their purpose, it's time for our purpose, right? But we need to know
Mhm.
kind of who we are.
Mhm.
And I mean, does that make sense? I think that's hard for a lot of people.
I think so. I think it's something that it's an evolving. It just like continues to grow. I think it evolves and changes because we evolve and change. You know, like
Yeah,
I thought I knew who I was in my 20s, right? Now looking back, I can see just how, how much I really did align with others more than just myself, right? There was so much people pleasing back then than there is now. I mean, I guess I finally woke up to the fact that it was useless and it wasn't happening anyway. So, you finally go, well, I may as well do things my way because nobody's happy with me anyways. So, yeah.
yeah. And when you're a mother, I mean, you can't avoid that. That's part of the process. I mean, we
Hmm.
learn through that process. So it's okay. I mean, I kind of feel like we kind of have to go through that
Yeah,
as well.
absolutely.
But yeah, I kind of went back and forth, back and forth. I'm, you know, a little neurodivergent, so I've never been able to fully like just be my best, just conforming. You know,
Hmm.
I'm always in a I'm always in a space where everybody's going to do better than me if, when I'm conforming. If
Right.
that makes sense. I can't, I'm just when I'm trying to conform, I'm just this like airhead. I'm just a total idiot because I don't have my own brain.
Yeah,
I only have my own brain, not conforming.
yeah. I mean, there's that awkwardness of trying to get into other people's heads and be who you think they want you to be, right? And it never works. I see. Um, I always wanted to be different. I hated. I remember when I was younger. Well, something else that we were going to talk about is our upbringings. But I was raised in evangelical Christian church, and I remember one time we had this musical that we did as kids, and I was in grade 4, and I remember it so clearly. And there was this song, and it was like, I'm someone special. I'm the only one of my kind. And I
Hmm.
remember thinking, I hate that word special. I'm just like, if everybody's special, then nobody's special. So I don't want to be special. I want to be
Yeah.
different. I want to be unique, even though it has that similar vibe to it. I just, for years and years and years, I hated that word special because I just wanted to be different. I just don't want to be like anybody else. I want to be different. I need to be different. And I felt like, like as much as, I mean, like I said, in my 20s, I felt like I knew myself so well. And I have always just tried not to conform. And so here you did
Yeah.
it so naturally. And I was just like, I need to be different. Don't say that I'm special because everybody's special. So it made
When I
sense
was
in my kid head.
when I was little, I wanted to be normal. I felt like a
Mm,
talk to myself. Like I had like I daydreamed all the time, and I
mhm,
had imaginary friends, but I knew they were in my head. I mean, they weren't outside my head. I knew that, but they were very
right.
real, and I didn't know not to talk to them.
Oh,
But so I spent a lot of time talking to them, and there would we would just have stories. Like there would just be these narratives in my head. Um, and I also thought that I was really like ugly, like freakish looking. And I think
hmm,
that's because I was weird and early on, very early on, we already learned to tie our value with our looks. You
hmm,
know, the kids were so mean to me and they called me a freak. And I guess I thought freak was my value. And that was because of my looks. I looked like a freak. Does that make
hmm, hmm,
But it was because I was acting weird. And so I remember, being a little girl, and we were not raised Christian or anything like that. My dad was very atheist. He very much believed and told me, that religion was the opium of the masses, and my mom was a Wiccan witch. So,
right.
which I didn't I really, well, I guess I was exposed to that pretty early on, yeah. But still, and I lived in a Jewish community, so I don't know where I got this whole praying.
That that's quite the mix.
But I pray, I would be like, "Please don't make me a freak. I don't wanna be a freak." That's it,
Aw.
a freak. So I prayed for conformity. Yeah, but, somehow in junior high, like, something happened, and I kinda bloomed. I bloomed
Mm,
kind of into conform well, no, in high school, I don't know. I in retrospect, I think what happened was it was like at that time when Molly Ringwald films were really popular, and I was a freaky, kind of good-looking kid, and probably the girls were like, "Oh, she's one," girl with the freak. Oh,
mhm,
we're gonna make her over. So I had like friends who were interested in me who were more popular and stuff.
right.
But but I think they were trying to make me over.
Did they?
I couldn't handle them. I just walked away.
I can't do this. Just let me out of here. I can't do this. That's
I
funny.
tried. I tried, but then I was
Mhm.
just like, "I know what you're talking about." Like, they'd get together and they would do, they would always dance. I like to dance, but, who's, what Rick Rolled. Rick Rolled? That
Oh,
song,
Rick Aston? Rick Astley.
yeah.
Rick
Yeah!
Rick
That's
Astley, yeah. Never
yeah,
Gonna
I
Give You
remember.
Up?
Never gonna give you up. Yeah, and I remember these friends, these like friends who had designer Gucci glasses and stuff. They're like, come to my house and let's dance to Never Gonna Give You Up. And I just didn't understand it. I was choreographed weird. I don't know. It's not weird to me now. I would totally choreograph a dance with you to that
W
song.
Would you?
I would. Maybe we should do
Careful,
that.
careful what you put out there, Stevie. Somebody may eventually hold that to us. It's like, hey, where's that dance that you promised?
Someone is here, but I can't see. Oh, there's 3 people here. I
Oh,
don't
we
know
have
who they
three.
are though, because in order to go live with Leanne, I had to go on my phone, so I can't see my list of, like, people.
Yeah, I
I
can't see who they are. I can only see Elizabeth, and I
I'm
can't
sure
see who the other.
but
I'm
excuse me,
sorry.
it's just my middle finger is my most productive finger. I don't I don't know. Hey, so if you have just showed up on the chat, please say hi so we can see who you are, and
Yes.
we can yeah. Okay, so we were going to talk about our gray hair story because that's how we met. Leanne
Hmm.
and I, how many years ago? It was definitely pre-pandemic.
Oh, oh yeah. Wait, wait. Yeah, 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 yeah. Um, well, I don't know. Like,
Word witch. Hi. She's
hi.
cool. She's got a cool YouTube page, a YouTube channel too.
Oh, awesome.
She's dark
Um,
light.
ooh, I like that. Okay, so I have going to the store. I'm just trying to remember when we would have met because it was probably 6 years ago that I came on Instagram talking about my gray hair. I think it was 6 years ago that
Here's
I
a
started talking about gray hair. Now I know that I know I immediately started following you, but we didn't start talking and connecting until probably a couple years later. So I would say that it's probably been about 4 years, Stevie.
we're like OG Silver Sisters, kind of.
Yes, yes, we
I
have.
mean,
And I mean, and the thing is that we've been in it so long that we've kind of worked our way out of it.
yeah.
And so not really, I mean, I have some very dear Silver Sister friends that I stay
Mm,
connected with, but I don't follow any of the Silver Sister stuff on social media at all anymore.
yeah.
Because there's young ones coming out with I always find that when people start their transition, right? Like,
Mhm.
and they've got the Granbury growing out. That's what attracts people because they want to see that,
True.
right?
Yeah.
And I never had that. I
Yeah.
don't have before and after pictures. So my
Yeah.
my transition was completely boring.
Yeah, mine was kind of too. Because I just cut all my hair off but I didn't really go on Instagram until it was kind of, you know, grown out a little bit. Maybe not even much shorter than this.
Yeah, I don't remember you having any color on your hair at all besides the gray.
Yeah. Yeah, I think because for like us, they might see a picture. Like I had pixies. I had a gray pixie.
Right.
A lot of people on Pinterest like that. That was people were saying, I took this picture to my hairdresser. So
Oh,
that's
wow.
just having the pixie, but it was sort of like one and done. They would see us and inspired, and then they would go to Instagram and go hang out, go
I just want to
look at
see what.
transitions.
Yeah,
Oh, you
but
can.
when I was part of the Silver Sister community. Then also I remember dining with Stevie back in a couple of times. I remember you were
Oh,
moving a lot then.
yes. I moved from Oakland to North Carolina.
Oh,
Okay.
And
Oh,
then I was a Grombre transition. I dyed my hair black and grew out the gray for 2 years. Then I went back to using henna. Oh, so what
yeah.
I would imagine that you kind of have like a reddish brown now with if you're doing the henna. I hennaed my hair for
Yeah.
years. And I gave birth to my youngest son. I was hennaing my hair red, and I gave birth to my youngest son, and he was a redhead. And people
Oh.
thought that he, okay, these are funny stories. People thought that he had my natural hair color, and I'm like, this is not natural. And then one time, my mom and dad came to visit with my grandparents, and my mom joked and said, "Oh, Leanne, you have to stop coloring that boy's hair. He was a newborn, right?" And I laughed, and my grandpa came up to me later, and he's like, "Leanne, you're not coloring your baby's hair, are you?" I'm like, "No, grandpa, I am not coloring my baby's hair. That's his natural hair color." But anyways, so
It's like, you only color your baby's hair if your baby's kidnapped.
right? I'm not dyeing my baby's hair. Oh, my account was Greg Gould's. Oh,
Great
cool. Now it's
schools.
silver.
Oh, okay. I
Mm.
was wondering, I was like, who were you? Who was I talking? Because I
Oh, now I
no,
have
yeah.
to look you up when I get back onto Instagram, as your hair sounds stunning.
Her red hair is beautiful. You should check her out on YouTube because she does
Okay.
cheek and like it's very spiritual, very I want to say dark, but I don't mean that in a like in a bad way. Growing up Wiccan and stuff, dark and light, it's all the same. It's like it's just a balance. You want that shit balanced. You want that shit.
Absolutely.
Too much light is creepy as fuck as well.
Don't we know it?
uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I had a friend who used to henna on her standard pool. She also had one beet
Oh, yeah.
juice. Oh, cool. I love that. Beet
And
juice.
she also said my account was Grey Ghouls, but now
Hmm.
it's still. Oh, you're still on Instagram. Okay. Am I following? Well, are we following each other? Hope so. Okay, because I got rid of a bunch of my Silver Sister accounts, and if I saw the word silver, I might have gotten rid of it. But I want to hang out with you for other reasons, though. So my hair is half white and half dark blonde, so it's red auburn with red streaks now. That's cool.
Beautiful. Sounds very cool. I do
Yeah,
miss having, because I mean, like I was a hairdresser for years, so I used to do all sorts of crazy stuff with my hair. And now, since growing it all out, it grabs onto color so well that I would be too scared to even do a temporary color because I don't think I would be able to get rid of it.
mine
So,
doesn't. I
no,
put on it. I put pink. I have to like
I know I've seen you do that. It's so cool.
hours. And all I want is like a pearly pink, like not a barely there pink, almost like how blonde is slightly yellow. I want a little
Yeah,
kind of like a
like a
rose,
blush.
a blush. Yeah,
A
and
blush.
it doesn't really hang on. I don't know why. I have like a weird witch
For
says I have 4 different IG accounts. Oh well, that's not bad. What is the one that I just opened? Oh, I've been using it. Oh, I can't even remember, but I've been using it to spy on people. Um,
Do I know about that one?
the
You have,
Taurus, the cult of the Taurus that
oh,
we
that one that we started.
I don't even know why. I can't even remember why.
I can't log on to it, so you get all the fun.
Okay, so yeah. It's not spelled like clitoris. It's clitoris. Taurus like a bull.
Clit, like Taurus.
Clitor.
Clit. It's brilliant.
I'm not even Taurus, so it's not even that. Okay.
And I'm not either. So that's funny. It is fun having a bunch of different accounts. I end up just being on the same one all the time. I try to post on different things, but anyways. So, okay,
I
Stevie, I kind of touched on a little bit. We're just getting back on, and I don't even know if we need to get back on topic, but I have been, I stopped coloring my hair about 6.5 years ago. And like I said, nobody noticed because I was already bleaching and coloring my hair blonde. So when I stopped coloring it, I noticed I could see the roots, but nobody else did. So I was just, but when did you stop?
You look like a California blonde. I mean, you just like even right now looking at you, you just
Yeah,
look.
I mean it definitely when I'm with other blondes, my hair looks gray. But when I'm on my own, my hair looks blonde. So,
Right, right.
yeah.
Um, yeah. So I remember the reason why I started connecting with you is because I love the aesthetics of your IG account. Like you have just a very, it was very creamy and well, no, it had a lot of turquoise, very mystical not mystical, but just ambient.
Yeah.
Like it was
Like a
ambient.
kind of watery because everything is watery with me.
Yeah, it was so beautiful. And
Thank you.
and you know, like I've mentioned before that we are kind of opposites, but we have that sort of sigma femaleness in common. Word Witch is a sigma female, to sure, for sure, definitely by my Gen X definition, lone wolf basically. Um, but yeah, and then we just started chatting. I don't know, like I just started chatting with you more than anybody else.
I know. Same. Yeah. It was just like, and we just had such fabulous conversations. And it wasn't until like even just couple of years ago that I found out that you were raised by a Wiccan mom.
Yeah,
And then just some of your stories were just so fascinating to me, because I was raised in the evangelical Christian home. And then we have kind of crossed
I know.
over into each other's worlds a little bit. Not that I'm not Wiccan or witch or anything. It's just when I started deconstructing from Christianity, then you started um, delving into your Quaker roots
Yeah,
more.
right.
And so we've had these interesting conversations about where we came from and where we're at, because I
Mhm.
mean, who knows where you're going? I have no idea where I'm going,
Yeah,
right? And I mean, like, we have so many different opposites that we've talked about, and I love, and what I just appreciate about our conversations so much is that there's never um, uh, a competition or need to be right or even
no,
make a point. It's just us sharing our perspectives, sharing our hearts, sharing our ideas, and delighting in what the other person has to say
yeah.
and learning from each other. It's never been about debate and what's right and what's wrong, and and that's what I
So much,
appreciate about you so much.
there's so much wisdom to glean from you. Like, why would I want to miss out on
Oh,
that by
well,
competing?
ditto. Same, same.
Aw,
I admire your depth and
I love.
just how your depth and how
You
intelligent you are.
you too.
Like I there we are, gushing at each other. Everyone's gonna have fun like this.
You more.
I know you. Oh, here, Elizabeth says,
Okay.
I stopped coloring,
Coloring.
cutting, coloring my hair. Some of
I
my
think
adult kids thinks it's letting myself go, but it's so freeing. Coloring, oh, isn't it? Yeah,
it is way free.
100%.
I think that when your kids see it all the way grown out, they might have a different idea about it. I don't know. I mean, it just
Hmm.
really depends where you are. Like people have just really different ideas. My kids really liked it. Like they just thought it was cool and would do probably do the same. Hopefully they'll do the same, but it doesn't really matter. Like Jordan, she doesn't
Mm-mm.
color her. He still doesn't. I was
Hmm.
coloring my. 12. I was so um we were going to ask why. We decided to go gray, but you know what? How about we ask why we decided to color our hair? And I'll go first.
Go
I
first.
I decided to color my hair because it's okay, Elizabeth. She says, "Sorry, my glasses aren't on because of the misspelling." It's fine. Um, I
Oh,
decided
that's okay.
I wanted to be something else. I wanted to be somebody else. I
Mm.
wanted to be more exotic. I wanted to have
Mm.
reddish hair when I was younger, and like I have fairly light eyes, and this looked weird. I thought it was weird. People would tell me, "Your eyes." So
Mhm.
I was boxy sort of like I don't know, and then I kind of went red, but that's why I wanted to be something else. I was sort of
Hmm.
about a sexier version of me. I was actually trying not to be myself. So
Right.
that's why. Why did you decide to go gray? Or no, dye your hair the
Why
first
did
time?
I? Okay, well, the first time I was in the beauty culture department
Mhm.
at school.
Right, right.
Beauty culture. So it was just like I was playing, like it was just for fun. You go into school and you go to class and you color your hair and you cut your hair and you do all these different things with it. So it was for me, it was just another way of me being able to express myself and
Yeah,
be creative, and that just carried on. I mean, like I was coloring my hair so much, I honestly lost track of what my natural hair color was. I had
right,
no idea, like it was just, it was blue, it was green, it was like not like it is now. Like the blues and
right,
greens are something we did not have back in the
right.
day. Like I'm too old for those colors. But it was just like, like doing green kind of over top of my brown, and black and burgundy and little blonde tips and stuff like that. So for me, it was just a lot. That's why I started. It was just a lot of fun. But then the gray started coming in my 20s,
Yeah,
and
you try.
that's when yeah, and then I mean, I was having kids and at home, and so that's when it transitioned from just for fun and play into I'm coloring my hair to cover up my color, the gray.
Yeah.
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 So it was in my 20s that I started to have to cover up grays.
So do you think that because you played around with color so much that you were just like, what the hell? I'm gonna do a green. I'm gonna do it this color. Do you think that made it easier to transition to gray, given that you were willing to
It was a
try?
really hard, I mean, like I said, nobody noticed when I transitioned to gray because I was doing blonde on my hair. And it was a hard decision for me. It was really
Yeah.
hard, because gray, my mom was solid white and her
Uh-huh.
parents were both solid white. And so for me that meant old. It was just, that's the color of old, is white. Gray hair is old. And i and um and I was just, and so it was like, it was really scary for me. My son had challenged me to, it's like, Mom, stop coloring your hair. And I'm like, that's not happening. Right.
Y-
And I think it was a year and a half later that I just decided, okay, I'm going to try this.
Yeah.
And as I started growing my hair out, and like I said, I noticed no one else did. And I used to argue with people all the time. It's just like, I have gray hair. It's like, no, you don't. I'm like, yes, I do. And they're like, no, you don't. So then I grow my hair out, and it's like, everyone's like, see, you don't have gray hair. And I'm like, there's no color here. But even when I first started transitioning to gray, I would take just dark. I would actually put dark streaks just in the top here because it
Yeah.
was my hair is so white. Like I hardly like you can see my scalp
Yeah.
and and I hated it. So for the first although I stopped coloring my hair with permanent hair color and I grew it all out, I still would put some dark semi-permanent or temporary lines in the top to try and make it look a little bit more
Yeah.
gray
I
rather than
imagine
the
it
white.
too, right? Like if you didn't want to, like, I don't know. I guess we're not talking about beauty right now, so.
No.
um,
So, yeah, so
yeah,
no, it was actually a really hard transition for me to go gray. I was really I struggled with it. Yeah.
I
How
tried
about you?
several. Like you said, your son wanted you to go gray, or he was, kind of getting hot. Was
Mhm.
pressuring you to try it. My husband actually was, um,
Oh.
and I. So the first time we weren't married, and he got it was my birthday or something. It wasn't my birthday, but for my birthday, he got tickets to see Jane Goodall, in Albuquerque, and I love
Oh,
Jane Goodall.
wow.
She's my hero. So I thought I was going to be a primatologist, but things changed. But that's what I thought I was going to do. And so we went to go see her talk. And, it's Albuquerque's pretty small. It's kind of like a small town. So we're standing in line, and my husband was a professor at UNM, the University of New Mexico. And up ahead, and he was, a fairly young professor, but up ahead in the line were two professors that he had seen, on at the university, a couple, and they were both
Mhm.
silvery. They looked
Mhm.
very smart, very sleek, um, like not high fashion, but sleek in that sort of professorial way. And she had like a bobbed hairdo, um,
Mm.
brain. They were about 20 years older than us, and he said that's I think they were in their 60s, and he said that is yeah, so maybe 30 years older. And he said that's going to be us, in the future. And I thought that was so romantic. So that was like the
Aw.
instance, and then later. Every time I dyed my hair, I would get stain everything, and I would make a big mess. I was real stressed. And he would always be like, "I don't know why you do that. Why do you even do that?" And my mom had been completely gray by the time she was 30 and white, like
Mhm.
white. White.
Mhm.
And he's like, just stop doing it. It's okay. But I was worried because, he was a professor, and like the girls were always flirting with him and stuff. And he would, bring him stories of like girls doing some things, in order to get good grades, like
Oh my
being very
God.
like that. Yeah, yeah. It's like, and then he would also talk about all his colleagues who would like, a lot of them ended up with students,
Mm.
and so he's like, it's no big deal. But I was just like, no, you don't understand. Like you say that is not a big deal now, but you don't know how you would feel. You don't know. You don't know.
Right.
Like, I didn't trust him. I didn't, like, trust just didn't trust.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I was also I was spending a lot of money going to the salon because my hair had so much gray in it that it was hard.
Mm.
It gets hard to color. You have to actually
Mhm.
you're a hairdresser, so you have to put in a neutral color before, and I liked kinda like the auburn-ish colors. I couldn't do that
Right.
anymore. Go very neutral. I had to
Mhm.
go, um who was that girl who gave Bill Clinton a blowjob? Like that color. Like, I
Right.
can't remember.
Monica Lewinsky?
Monica
His
Lewinsky, yeah. Like a Monica Lewinsky. And it became really boring. Like I couldn't do my fun stuff anymore, or else I'd get these hot roots. And I had to
Mhm.
go to a salon. It was expensive. Well, we were moving from Ohio. Sorry. We are moving New Mexico to Ohio because he took another job, and we wanted to be in Ohio because his Grammy, who is in her 90s. She was getting up there. He wanted to be closer to his family.
Mhm.
And so we moved to Ohio, and the job was drying out in New Mexico too. Um, and the cost of living was less, and I had a really high stress job. I worked as a workers' comp adjuster, and I,
Ooh.
worked with gated claims, and I was just working all the time. We lived off grid, and we had kids, and it was just constant work, constant work.
Mhm.
And really wanted to be more creative. I wanted to write, I wanted to do. So I decided to let my hair go and like stop dyeing my hair,
Right.
uh, free up the money, and I, freed up the money in a lot of areas in order
For
to
sure.
support not working as much, so I could have free
Mhm.
time. Never got ridden, but that was the plan. That's where I got the idea of intentional living.
Right.
Like
Mhm.
intentional by just you don't have to keep up with the Joneses. You don't have to, keep up with the skunk line. You don't have to do all those because
Exactly.
and take your freedom away. They keep you from, being a rabble rouser like us.
Yeah.
Like we're
Exactly.
we're really trying to uproot the continent.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's why. I mean, it really is like
Mhm.
intentionality. Why?
Yeah. I think the other point that I didn't touch on was I became this increasing awareness and like I'm 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 not anti color at all. I am so pro do what you want to do. It's just like if coloring your hair gives you absolute joy and it's meaningful to you and it's, one of your necessities, that's great. I celebrate that and I support that. I'm not a pro, natural person. As you can tell, I got makeup on and all of that.
Right.
But one of the things that started to really hit me hard was I was putting color on my hair because when you're trying to cover it up, even though my hair was very similar color, it still was every 4 weeks. I was
Yeah.
putting color on my scalp right next to my brain.
Right.
And that started to really make me think because I had been doing it almost as long as you had. I had been doing it since I was in, grade 9.
Mm-hmm.
Actually before that, I was doing it home, like with friends and stuff like that, because my mom was just wonderful. She was very supportive and let me do stuff like that. But, and so I added up all those years, and it's just like, that's a lot of years to be putting chemicals intentionally that close to my
Yeah.
brain and then into my bloodstream that's going all through my body. And that's probably like that kept me on track. Like I know I put the temporary colors and stuff like that, but I was very careful to not put it on my scalp and stuff like that. And it was just in this little part here, but not coloring. That helped me stay on track with not coloring my whole head again and doing the whole thing because I'm just like, I can't do those chemicals because I try to keep my life very clean. I mean, that's another thing that we've, connected on is that we're very natural with what we products that we use and the cooking that we do and
We're both whole.
and pardon.
We're both whole food.
Yes, we are. Very different whole food right now, but we are both whole food.
Both whole food.
Are we really gonna talk about that too right now?
No,
I don't know. Okay.
no. She eats cockroaches, and I'm just kidding.
I do go to Mexico and I do grasshoppers, but I have yet to eat a cockroach. Oh, that's hilarious. No.
She's into natural living, also. We have a
Oh, I
lot of
love
we
that.
here. That would be so fun. I don't know if we can get
Mm-hmm.
any, but
Get 3 people? That would be
yeah,
fun.
that would be fun. Yeah. um. Oh, I was gonna. So Gosh, my old brain. Oh, so yeah, you were mentioning like all the fun. Oh no, I already said that. Like all the fun stuff that you could do with hair dye. Well, it stopped being fun for me. Okay, I know the question that I wanted to ask you.
Okay.
So, as a hairdresser, as someone who knows how to do everything with your hair, like whatever, if you have a whim, you can do it. You know what I
Pretty
mean? Like
much. Yeah.
I want a bob. There's nothing to stop you. There's like no, you don't have to make an appointment. You just do it. I want
Hmm.
color. So was that hard knowing that to go completely gray? Because you have to push back your whim a lot?
Like I said, probably the biggest thing that kept me on track was the chemicals. That I'm
Yeah,
just like, like I don't want to put chemicals on my head anymore. And then, and then I had this vision where it's just like, I'm not cutting my hair. I am just going to grow it out as long as I can get it. And I wanted to get it down to my waist and past my boobs in the front here. Um, and I did. And so that was the challenge that I needed to just kind of leave my hair alone and not do anything with it, right? Because, yeah, I mean, I've gone short and long so many times through the course of my life. But once I decided to go gray, it was just like I'm
your
just
hair.
not cutting my hair. Thank
Yeah,
you. Is like I'm not cutting it. I'm not coloring it. And it was actually just within a few weeks that I've cut my hair.
yeah,
Like I remember we were talking about it and stuff. So I've chopped probably a good, all of my hair used to be about down to here. Now it's down there in the back, but not in the front. So
yeah,
I've cut off probably about 4 inches of length in the front, but then like tons of layers
yeah.
and and everything around the front. So, but
What is
I
what is it with us that we want this like Disney princess hair? I mean, like so many Silver Sisters, they were like, now I'm gonna grow it long.
I
Like it was
know. I think for me, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no,
I was, for me, it was this, I want to be natural. I don't want to have to do my hair. I want to have, this long, flowy, mystical, magical hair.
yeah, right.
It wasn't that I was trying to be glamorous or I was trying to keep my youth. It was just I pictured myself as this old, wise woman with hair, like long silver
Oh,
hair.
all all of that. I wanted all of that too. Magical, mystical, old, crony. Like I don't know what changed. I kind of like it a little short right now, but I don't know. Like, yeah, I totally went. Part of it was as I was growing my hair really long, it got thin at the bottoms, and that thin at the bottom, thin at the
Yeah.
thin. What I
At the
technically at the
ends.
bottom, thin at the
At
bottom.
the bottom. Thin at the bottom. I am
Yeah.
not thin at the bottom, but my hair is.
So Word Witch says, "Oh, she would be totally up for that sometime." Okay, so I don't know if we can get 3 people on. If we can, we will definitely do that. If not, you could sub for Leanne, or maybe sub for me sometime, or maybe we can do our own thing.
Yeah, that would be I'm up for it. I'm in. And now Elizabeth asked, do you use natural shampoo or products? Um, Myself, I I don't. I've tried. I've done um, flaxseed oil, not flaxseed oil, flaxseed gel.
Mhm.
I've made my own gel for my hair. I used to use that all the time. I used to do rice water rinses, but my hair is so fine
Yeah,
that those natural products actually weighed my hair down even more and dried my hair out. It was just too much protein for my hair, and so it would just get really limp and lifeless. So
yeah.
I don't shampoo my hair. Maybe once I maybe shampoo my hair with actual shampoo once, maybe depends, month and a half.
Really?
Yeah, like I use conditioner. I only use conditioner
Oh,
on my hair.
sure.
I wash my hair. I clean it.
Yeah.
Probably every 5 days. I leave my hair about as I try and make it at least 5 days. Um, and then most days I don't use anything in it. Like I don't once I wash it with the conditioner, I don't put any products in.
You
Today
have
I
styling
I
products?
do I do have products in my hair today. I do because I'm just like I want it to look like it has
Yeah.
something. But most days I just
I
leave it.
I don't like products because of sensory issues. Like, I want my hair to.
Mhm.
I think that's one of the reasons why I like it shorter and more bob because I can get away with that better. I could just leave it straight or whatever. So I'm gonna answer the question.
Yes, do.
I use Hair Story. I was actually a brand ambassador for them for a little bit. But Hair Story is a hair wash, and it doesn't have detergent in it. I use that in the summer. I don't use it now, actually. I use it when my hair was more like yours. I would use it because it gives great texture to your hair. So I use that sometimes, and all you do is just wash. And I'll use it when I go on vacation because it's easy to take. But that's
Mhm.
all. It's like a co-wash kind of. You just use
Right.
that. That's all you need. And you don't need conditioner or anything like that. But now I've been using Davines, which is
Hmm.
expensive. I don't know. I use Oi, the shampoo, but I use this Heart of Glass, which is for
Hmm.
blonde. It's my favorite brightening product ever for gray hair. It makes your hair just,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, my hair looks pretty blonde in this lighting. I have a warm ring light,
Mhm.
but it makes your hair just as bright and as shiny like glass. It is so amazing. Now with Davines, I'm not a brand ambassador or anything like that with them. They're expensive. It's like $40 for a shampoo, and it's like $40 for a conditioner. I have like a sample size kind of the Heart of Glass, which cost me like $20, but it's like $40. It costs you like $80 to get a whole set. It
Right.
lasts for me an entire year.
Oh, so then
Expensive up front, but it's actually cheaper than anything else. The Hair
yeah.
Story, $40 every 2 or 3 months. It's
Ooh.
the most expensive. It's the most expensive shampoo I think I've ever used when you think about it that way.
Mhm.
Um, so Word Witch says same. You want the you have pretty long hair. She says she wants. I think she's talking about like the long Disney
I,
princess hair.
I still have that goal, super long hair. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I part of me is like as my hair is getting longer, like I like it. I like it kind of shorter, but I'm always like, do I go longer? Or do I go shorter? I personally don't like my hair anywhere between here. And
This is the worst length.
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
I mean,
this shoulder and this. Oh yeah. When it's up
it's
above that or down there. But that, yeah.
pixies. It's supposed to be very flattering for us, but
Mhm.
I don't feel that way. I feel it's
Mm-mm.
very
Frumpy.
cut, like it's like the
Yeah,
tract
it can
house
be.
and
I know it's just whenever it gets to be that length for me, I mean, like I see some women that have just stunning haircuts and
right.
this length, but for me, it just doesn't seem to work on me. So I'm
Yeah,
enjoying the long.
it makes me feel very businesslike or something. Now I
Hmm.
had really short, but the thing is, when you have your hair really short, I learned this. You can't see it here because of the way I have lighting in here. But when you have your hair really short, you don't get the shadow on the side of your neck, which is slenderizing.
That creates that.
Yeah, you think that if you have a long neck, you might want to, get rid of all the hair until you just be like, but but the hair around the neck actually helps give it.
Ah.
But my hair gets this long and it connects to my clavicle here that
Hmm.
I some of that length of my neck. That's kind of one the shoulder, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
beauty. Fun though. It's all girl talk. I mean, like the
It is all
focus,
girl talk.
yeah, focus, but that's it. That's just the focus is the conversation piece.
Exactly. Whatever we happen to be talking about, that's what we're talking about.
I want to. So we're getting close to the end. But I kind of have like a dream of doing a continuous conversation. So however we end, we begin the next topic.
I like that. Yep, I'm in.
So shall we talk about like gray hair beauty, or should we get off the silver sister? Are we going too deep into the silver sister?
We
Okay.
when we initially talked about what are we going to talk about, we was like, let's just start with the gray hair and the silver sister, and then we'll move on. And it's like, well, that didn't happen. So,
I knew that we didn't need much of a trigger, that we would just have more than enough to talk about.
yeah, yeah, exactly. We always do. So let's shift off of this a little bit and start the conversation what we're going to talk about next time.
Okay. So we're going to talk about.
Just like you we started with, "Hey, Leanne, do you have any notes for this?" For this, and I laughed. I'm like, "Yeah, you know me. I have nothing, nothing." And then, but I knew that you would.
Are, are we going to talk about gray hair beauty? Or are we going to leave that behind? Are we going to be talking about like what is deliberate living? We can actually broach that subject.
Hmm.
We have a list which we developed together. These are our notes. All about like give yourself permission, meditate silence, doing the rosary. I do the rosary.
Don't
Forest
do the
bathing.
rosary.
Do you what?
I
Do you do
don't
the
do the
rosary?
rosary.
Yeah,
Never have. I don't even know what it is.
I don't really do the rosary, and it's in my next video, which is going to go up tonight. I didn't put it up because
Ah,
it's called praying the leaves, because I do the leaves, not the rosary.
oh, okay, cool.
I fondle the leaves and I do Hail Marys. And I'm not Catholic. This is like divine feminine shit.
Divine feminine shit. Let's talk about divine feminine shit. We also have, I know something else that you had initially sent me was just like, we're like have all these opposites. Well, we already touched on the Wicca and evangelical Christian upbringings and where we've crossed paths in some ways and met in the middle in others. And then we talked about our eating, which is opposite. And I mean, like, really, we kind of live on opposite sides of the country almost.
Yeah.
Um,
If you were in America, we would be directly opposite.
exactly, right? If I just went straight south down into California, it'd
I have
be,
to go a little bit further too, but
yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of opposites about us, but like I said at the beginning, I think that's what I appreciate about us so much is that we have so many differences and we delight in hearing about them. We love, hearing about where we have different points of view or different ideas or different upbringing or different experiences, and we learn from each other and we're interested in what the other person has to say, and I'm always gleaning stuff from you. I'm always,
Me,
just taking in so much wisdom and so much insight and makes me think about things a little bit differently. So I mean, if we can bring those kinds of things into the conversation, you know, for others
yeah.
to really enjoy and take something from too,
Yeah.
I
I
think that
still have
that's
a question though about going gray is like
okay.
the intentionality behind it. We can't address it now. Maybe next time. The intentionality, like how did it make that act of it's not really an act,
Mm,
but it's a oh, I can actually do what I want to do. And this is what I want to do, so I'm going to do
mhm,
it. The whole world
mhm,
is, oh, you're letting yourself go or whatever, but we do
mhm,
that thing anyway, and nothing
mhm,
really. In fact, doors opened, and
mhm.
like
Yeah.
that's the magical living through intention. And I kind of I want to kind of explore that story next time if we can do that. Do you think we can do that?
I think
Or maybe
so. We'll see. We can try.
we could try
We can try. We'll put an intention out there. We'll see what we can do. The intentionality to be intentional.
how we want to conclude this too. It's like everybody set an intention. If you have an
Hmm.
put it in the comments or just keep it to yourself. But what is it? What do you want to manifest?
Hmm.
And
I know for me, we talked about this a little bit. Sorry to. I'm just going to say this, and then I want to read what Lynn said. Is we're going into a really tough season.
right,
It's a really hard season. It's an incredibly hard season for me. I'm dreading it. Sam and I actually went out and drove around and looked at Christmas lights last night and got very teary and heavy hearted, as beautiful and delightful as that was. And I think for myself, an intention coming into December and this holiday season with all these different, celebrations and festivities and families getting together and everything is just like for me to be intentional about caring for my own heart and
yeah,
creating experiences that are going to be positive memories and moments in my life this month,
yeah,
and not get caught up in the heaviness that I feel, but to really be intentional about creating those moments that will bring delight to me. And I see that word delight that you shared, and
uh, oh, thank you. I'm
oh,
looking
thank you so
forward.
much.
I it would be lovely to have you on. We'll figure it out. We'll see if we can do it. I'll send you an invitation next time to see if we can do that, because that would be so fun.
That would be really fun.
Yeah. I agree with you about the holidays. I'm trying to be intentional too. Like tomorrow, we're putting the tree up and we're decorating. And I told my husband, so we're gonna watch a Christmas movie. This is what we're gonna just do. We're gonna just dig into it. Now we're making all our presents DIY.
Right.
Um,
Mm,
I have some issues too going out there. I have sensory issues. So it's very very. I feel very anxious when I get out there.
mm-hmm.
But, just I don't know, it's just the people, the crowds, they kinda drive me crazy. Everybody is kinda missing the point. Yeah,
100%. Yeah. And
very
I think that that's where, for us at least, we've disconnected from Christmas
yeah,
celebration. Like we just don't celebrate Christmas anymore. And
yeah,
so it's learning new, like I said, new traditions, new things that we can do that are going to be meaningful for Sam and I, because it's just Sam and I, even though we have 4 children, they're
yeah,
off doing their own thing.
right.
And we
I
can
agree.
we can even talk about stuff like that too. I have no problem
Yeah,
bringing up, life, because in me sharing the pains in my life and the struggles in my life, I know hearing other people sharing their stuff helps me feel seen and comforted that I'm not the only one who's, feeling alienated and estranged from family members, you know. Um, so yeah, yeah, I think so too.
yeah. So we'll do that. That's a really
Okay.
yeah. Alright.
Well,
So that concludes it.
that flew by. Like
I told you
seriously.
my God fast. It's fun.
It's like that. An hour? Okay.
I know. So fun. It's so fun talking to you. It's so fun talking to all y'all down there, recreating, discovering what works.
Rediscovering what
Yeah.
works. Oh,
Oh,
exactly. Yeah.
wonderful. I
Yeah.
love those. I might grab them from you.
I like that. I like that,
I
Elizabeth.
know. Recreating, rediscovering what works. I like it because it has a flow too. Recreating,
Mm-hmm.
rediscovering what works.
Rediscovering what works. Yeah. That's so good.
Maybe that will be part of the title next week. Like
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
recreating, rediscovering what works, or something like that. I don't know.
Mhm.
I like it. All right, but it's 10 o'clock here, and I mean you're in polar night, so it doesn't matter what time it is.
it's been, it's been dark here since 4,
You in
so
polar night. Just kidding.
I know.
Just
I'm glad we
kidding.
get daylight for at least a couple of hours.
Yeah, I know, and I get up. Okay, we gotta stop.
We
We
do. We
got
need to stop.
to stop.
We'll
All right,
talk next week.
until next week, we're gonna be back Thursday at 9 p.m. And Word Witch, if you ever want to invite me on your platform, I would be happy to go live with you too. So that's another option.
Fantastic. And I am working at getting my YouTube up. So this is kind of the
Yeah,
this is the precursor to try and motivate me to get my ass in gear.
you can find her. It's okay. It's
Okay.
okay.
Butt in gear.
Ass,
Ass.
ass, ass.
But yeah, you can find me on Instagram anyways.
Asses, and you can do all that.
Yes, ass.
Keep the Instagram over at Leanne Listens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so just Leanne
Okay.
Listens.
Stan listens. Easy to find. All right. Thanks,
Yeah,
Stevie, so much. It's been fun.
yeah, it's been real fun. Thank you so much for joining. You have no idea how I'm excited about this. I'm so excited that we can make it work because the
I'm
podcast.
glad that we finally got it. We've talked about this for a long time. Yeah. This is good. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. And thank you so much, everybody who joined us. And I know you're going to
Yeah,
be putting this up as a video later. So for
yeah,
people who weren't able to join us, they'll still be able to see it.
right, right, and spread the word. Spread the word. If you,
Exactly. Spread the word. And people who are joining us later, make comments. Comment
yeah,
underneath. Just because you weren't here to make live comments, please feel free to make
yeah,
comments and like and share.
yeah, and tell us what you want to what. Give us some
What
topic.
you want to talk about. What conversations in this girl club
Oh,
that you want us to talk about. As you can see, we don't have a problem talking.
yeah. The reason why I was calling it like a girl, like girl time instead, I know that's not very feminist, but guys have guy time, and that's very casual. It's very chill. It's like, bro,
Yeah.
and I want to be
Hmm.
like, this is
Gal
this
time does
time.
not sound right. Girl time
Yeah,
sounds fine. I'm good
women
with
time,
it.
lady time. I don't know. The only thing that sounds like chill is girl time. So we're
I
gonna do.
agree. Let's do that.
Okay, we gotta go.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Bye, everybody.